number? Wait, what number is it? And we're back.
I wonder if that was caught on the. I mean,
I doubt it.
it's so funny because you were like, for those of you, you probably couldn't hear it, but Johnny was like, "Oh wait, no, what number is this?" But
It's like when you push someone in the pool and they try to yell something before they go under the.
it sounded like you were saying, "Oh wait, I forgot to put oxygen in the space shuttle before it took off." Like that's
Nope.
how urgent you were. But then it's like this. I don't know if you've ever done this podcast before. It's not the most. It's a little relaxed atmosphere. I think you could have asked me on the air what number.
You're right.
Yeah. But I like
215 is my guess.
215 is the answer. 215 is the answer. 215 freaking episodes in a row.
Oh my God.
Never
That's
missed a week.
sweet.
Suck on that, everybody else.
That's right. Suck on it hard.
Suck on it hard.
Suck on it soft. Whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Andrew's a hard guy. All right. I'm an either or.
A hard sucker.
There you go. Andrew sucks it hard. Johnny's not picky.
Suck it hard. Well, how was your weekend, Johnny? You
Uh,
look. First of all, let me tell you, you look great. You're wearing a Hawaiian shirt for some reason. It's really
word,
that.
Hey, what I'll do.
What? All day.
Word all day.
And you look good in a Hawaiian shirt. It fits your whole. I think that could be like a stage vibe. You could just go full parrot head with the beard and the ponytail.
Parrot head?
Yeah, like Jimmy Buffett.
I was thinking more Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Anytime
Robin
I wear,
Williams.
because I normally don't wear Hawaiian shirts on stage, just because I'm like, oh, people are going to be like, hey, nice Robin Williams costume.
No one's thinking about that anymore. Enough time has passed. Plus, you're so like, I don't think anyone would accuse you of ripping off Robin Williams.
Right.
The energy
I don't look
level,
like him. I don't have an act like him. Yeah.
The energy level is a little different. One time someone accused me of stealing a Robin Williams joke on
Which one?
TikTok, of course. I do a bit about Jesus having younger siblings, and they don't get talked about, but they are mentioned in the Bible, and one of them's names is Joseph, and I talk about how annoying that would be, to be like, it's bad enough your older brother is Jesus, which would be you're living in his shack,
Right.
Like, how much would that suck? But then the name being that similar, so people
His name
are
is Joseph.
Joseph? Oh, are you the Jesus? No, it's Joseph with an O. I'm here about the water heater. Was there a leak? That's the whole bit. But then, like, someone told me, oh, that is Robin Williams. But he does a bit about how if your name was Jesus, or I don't know, if I forget, but it wasn't that close. It was definitely not close enough to accuse me of ripping it off. And by the way,
so you stole it. So you didn't steal it from Robin Williams. You stole it from the same guy he stole it from.
Well, that's exactly the point I was going to make. The hypocrisy, the irony of someone accusing me of stealing from one of the biggest thieves of all time. But you can't tell anybody on the internet, that Robin Williams steals, because they'll.
That's the thing. Yeah, he never got the Carlos Mencia treatment. I mean, Carlos Mencia has just been.
Yeah, why is that? Is that because he was just so good? Like, at everything?
I don't know.
Like, he was just so likable. He was such a good actor. He was so he was such an A-list celebrity. Whereas Carlos Mencia was a good comedian and had gotten a lot of notoriety, but nothing close to the level. Like, is there a level you break through where nobody cares if you steal jokes or not? I think would be my hypothesis.
I'm sure that's a percentage of it, but I think the bigger percentage was the times, Robin Williams, like, Carlos Mencia, you could prove there's videos and it's like proof. Robin Williams' heyday was just, he said, but she said, and people are like, well,
but he I heard that he used to like he would admit it. Like, he would just go, he would do the bit on TV, and then like his defense would be, he's just so extemporaneous
Oh,
that like these things get in his head and he can't stop. Like his brain is firing so quickly he can't stop. And then he would like send a check. He would cut a check like the next
oh
day. If he
wow.
was on the Tonight Show, he would do your bit that he saw at the Comedy Store or whatever, and then he'd just give you a check for it the next day.
Who decides the rate?
He does, of course, because you have no
No control.
you have no
Oh,
control. But yeah, so anyway,
wow.
how did we start talking about that? I have no.
My Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, your Hawaiian shirt looks great. You look fantastic. I think it should be your look. That's why I say no one remembers Robin Williams wore Hawaiian shirts on stage, so you could just take it and run with it.
All right. I do have.
And you're a
I
skinny
have
guy in a Hawaiian shirt. Rare combo.
Yeah, is the Hawaiian shirt typically for larger
Oh,
men?
that's a fat guy uniform.
Oh, okay. I thought what is it? The golf shirt. What's the collared shirt that has like the two big wide stripes? I thought that was
Oh,
like the go-to.
yeah. That's the bowling shirt. That's the Tony Soprano. Yeah, that's a good look too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any sort of billowy, loose, collared, untucked shirt, that's fat guy. That's a fat guy uniform.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Hawaiian shirt, bowling shirt, they're in the same category.
Yeah, that's one thing. Did you ever do you have an intentional look on stage of what you wear, or do you just try to be like,
no, and I wish I did. And you know what? I get it wrong every time. I was at the Funny Bone this weekend, and I was like, and I packed collared shirts, polos, and long sleeve collared shirts. That's usually one of those two is what I'm wearing on stage. And then I was like, this is not that. I should be wearing like cool t-shirts. This is like a cool t-shirt place. This isn't like, I think that should be my thing. Is cool.
well, do you base it on the place or you?
Yeah. No, I base it. That's the problem. Is I base it on the place. See, there's guys, we know guys who would wear a suit and tie, whether it's the Funny Bone or
Right.
Carnegie Hall. It doesn't matter. Or, a bowling alley. They'll always be them.
Yep.
And not me. I'm just trying to blend in. Let me just
I just want to go unnoticed. I just want to go unnoticed. I don't want to make waves.
I don't want anybody staring at me. Hey, what are you looking at? On stage. But yeah, so I should be more committed to a look. But I think if it's like a really nice t-shirt, you can wear that, and it's like, and you wear nice pants and shoes, you could wear that at a theater too,
Yep,
like
sure.
Ricky Gervais's sort of thing. I think it could be like just a nice black t-shirt. Like that's kind of a cool look to me.
I mean, yeah, if it's you could wear it at Carnegie Hall. You could wear ripped jeans if that's you,
Yeah. I don't know. What's your look on stage?
The only time it like matters is like when you're not famous and it's a corporate gig.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you look like a schlub? Well, that's kind of my thing. Okay, well, we hired a professional comedian, so you could dress the part.
I know.
My look, I don't know. I don't. That's what I mean. I don't have one. Sometimes I wear a t-shirt. Sometimes I wear long sleeve collared striped shirt, plaid shirt.
I want to get away from that. That was me for a long. Like anytime it was like a weekend show, I'm wearing like a long sleeve, either plaid or a nice button down shirt, untucked.
Yeah,
like that was kind of the uniform. And then comics got into like the jacket over, like whether it's like a bomber jacket or a light.
Oh yeah.
Over, like that's a good look. But then you're like, it became like the hoodie. When I started, it was everyone wore a hoodie on stage. Then it was the jacket. Yep. So I was like, well, I can't be those guys. But that the button down long sleeve, it feels very I don't know, like a high school kid going to church or something.
Yeah.
Or like, you know what I mean, going to a dance. I don't. I think t-shirt.
Yeah.
I think cool t-shirt. Or like, what would be great? I wonder if there's comedians. Like, what level of comedian do you have to be to have a stylist?
Unfortunately, I don't think either you or I are at that level.
No. But I was just.
We should be each other's stylists. You've already given me some tips. Why you should be the wife beater guy. Wife
two,
beater with a nice watch. Yeah,
two,
that's it.
two guys who can't dress themselves are gonna dress each other.
Each other.
I'm just gonna have you in all Hawaiian shirts and then like flip flops and one of those hats, straw hats that has like errant, pieces of straw sticking out of it, so it looks really worn.
The one that's like you have a
Like
piece
a
of
Tom
wheat sticking
Sawyer.
out of my
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you could pull
Sawyer,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, and actually that would help the look because if you would chew on a reed in between
Yeah. Well, then I'd have to cut the ponytail. I'd have to have shaggy hair, but not ponytail.
No. Yeah. Just let it shoulder length. Just let it fall like a
Yeah.
kind of a surfer look. Yeah. Like a dorky surfer. That's how I want you to dress.
All right, so that's mine. And then I'm gonna have you wearing a propeller hat, a wife beater, and then pants made out of the same material as my Hawaiian shirts.
Dude, do you remember like I think when we were young, when I was a kid, those pants, like not Hawaiian shirts per se, but that was a popular thing for a while. It's just sort of like loose fitting, wild pants. Like they had like wild, crazy patterns on them. Is this
I remember
drawing
the
ringing
short, like Lagoons. Do you remember Lagoons shorts?
and no, I don't remember the
I don't know
brand
if I
name.
could
I just
picture
remember these
pants
like
like.
long sort of hammer, like MC Hammer pants, but they had like the scrunchy at the ankle, so they would like get tight
Oh,
around your
okay.
ankle, but they were like parachute pants, I guess.
Yeah.
And that was like there was a moment when I was a kid where those were like great.
Zubaz, like Zubaz.
Maybe
Was
I
that the
can't
brand?
remember any. I don't remember any of the brand names.
Oh, all right.
Anyway,
So anyway, that's what you'll be wearing.
that's what I'll be wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in St. Louis and I went. See, I thought of you too because I walked around, and
Yeah.
it's in St. Charles, this club, which is a suburb, and it's where Lewis and Clark left for their expedition on the Missouri River. And I was walking by and I saw the museum, and I was like, "Oh, I should go check." And then in my head, I was like, "This is something Johnny would just never do." And there was an AMC right by where I was staying too.
Oh, how's that museum still in business?
I know. And so I went in. Well, first of all, $7. But here's the rub. I was like, I'm not, and I could see it was not very big. I was like, I'm not gonna pay $7. But I had to take a shit, and it was like nothing around. It was worth every penny. So I took a big dump in the
It's
Lewis.
$7 to take a shit. If you didn't have to shit, would you have done it?
No, and of course the bathroom was inside. It would have been too conspicuous.
Yeah.
But then when I bought the ticket and went in, it was not. It was like very much a children's music. Like there was like things you could climb on and play in, and like you know what I'm saying. And they were all kids in there, and it was also like a Friday afternoon, so there was no. So it
Did
felt
they make
very
a phone
creepy.
call right after you bought your ticket?
What?
Did they make a phone call right after you bought your ticket and walked in?
I wouldn't have blamed them if they did. It was a very suspicious. Like, why is this guy? And of course, like, you can't just take a dump and leave. So it's like you got to go get your $7 worth. So I'm like walking around along.
That makes it even more suspicious. You go into a children's museum, you're like $7. Yeah, hi. Hey, where's the bathroom? You go straight to the bathroom.
Yeah, that is exactly what I did.
Yeah,
but they have this thing, so they end up in Oregon, which is where I live, Lewis and Clark, at the Pacific Ocean, and it took them 28 months for the whole thing. Only one guy died, I think, but then so they go over all mountains, and there's animal attacks and Indians and all these perilous disease. They go through all that, and then they get to Oregon, and then the sign is like, I swear to God, I'm reading it, and I'm not being dramatic. This is what it was like. They were there for 4 months. They were all miserable and depressed because it rained the whole time, and they went home, and they made it home in like like a week. Like they just couldn't wait to get home. Oregon, that's what broke them. Just a regular winter of the Pacific Northwest. They couldn't fuck with it. They're like, no, we're out. This was a waste of time. This was horrible. Let's go back to St. Louis. And then Lewis, not Lewis. Yeah, Meriwether Lewis shot himself.
Yeah.
No one ever talks about that. Blew his brains out.
Once he got back,
He
his
couldn't
memories of the Pacific Northwest.
That one winter, he couldn't take it. That's how much
Wow.
it rains where I live.
Meriwether Lewis. So, and then that's the guy, right? Lewis
and Clark. I know it's confusing, right? So there's
then his first name's Meriwether.
Yeah, it's John.
Huh.
Is it John Clark? Something Clark and Meriwether Lewis. And then Clark was buddies, obviously, with Meriwether. So to honor his friend, he named his firstborn son Meriwether Lewis Clark. But like, obviously, when he named them, he wasn't thinking like, I'll forever be known as like Clark of Lewis and Clark. They probably at that time were still famous like individually now. But think how confusing that was for that kid growing up. He was Meriwether Lewis Clark.
Is the kid famous?
No, but everywhere he goes, he's Meriwether Lewis Clark. They're like, which one are which? What? You're both? I thought it was one. I thought it was two guys. You're the one guy, Meriwether Lewis Clark.
Yeah, but I would think that by the time, like, he probably died before they were. I'm gonna go ahead and backstep into my own footprints as I see the face you're making.
No, I want to hear it. What he probably died before people heard about the Lewis and Clark expedition. He lived for like 60 years.
I'm not known for my history knowledge.
No, I know. I mean, I just went to the museum, so I'm pretty boned up.
Yeah, that's right.
But
so you're Lewis of Lewis and Clark? No, that's
Meriwether Lewis Clark.
My dad's one of them.
I think it's confusing.
Yeah,
it's like Joseph. To bring it all back,
just like Joseph. How far is the St. Charles Club from the Westport Club?
10 minutes. It's incredible that they put them that close to each other, but apparently it's a different.
That's what I hear. So I did Saturday. I did the. Oh, by the way, I sent you a picture. I texted you a picture. Friday, I did the dildo bit that our Patreon listeners, I think, have access to. Correct? And
no, not yet.
Oh, okay. Well, stay tuned. Sorry, there's still time to sign up, folks. Patreon.
Yeah, that's a teaser.
But it's a bit with a dildo is all you need for the context. But I get to this gig in Racine, and it's a lot of old people. I sent Andrew a picture of the crowd while the comic before me was on, and I was like, you know what? Do you ever do things? Maybe this is a bad philosophy, but you ever just do things for the two comics on the show?
Yes. Yeah.
At the cost of the entire audience.
But I mean,
I knew they wouldn't like it.
I would do it, but they probably liked everything else, so there's less risk. Like they like you, so you're like, I can do one bit in here that doesn't work because I've already bought the currency, and this whole show will be a disaster.
Right. I did not open with it. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So I kind of got them on my side,
yeah.
And then joking around about the reaction of it, kind of endeared them too. But it was fun to do, and it was fun to hear the comics in the
picture you sent of the guy. You said it was somebody else was on stage, but it was the most miserable face I've ever seen in my life. Somebody at the comedy
and it was right
show,
next to another person with their head in their hand.
Yeah, like they couldn't believe that life had brought them to this show.
Yeah. But then Saturday I did the Dublin in Duluth, Minnesota, which I knew I was going to love. They told me it was sold out before I got there, so I was super pumped. It's a packed room. They're right on top of you. and it was great. And I filmed it, and it was just a room where like I just, I felt loose and I was doing a lot of crowd stuff, and I had just like the most great crowd interaction. This guy gets up, goes to the bathroom. I tease him, whatever I said, whatever is fine. And then I'm talking to this other guy about him and his girlfriend, talking about, who's ever hornier or whatever. And then, and he says, "Oh, it's my birthday." And I just, I
Yeah.
just laid into him about, okay, how, are you 5 years old or who, we're adults, blah, blah. That just went into a big, huge thing. His buddy comes back from the bathroom, and I was like, oh, it's your buddy. Okay, so who do you think is hornier between the two? Is it him or her? And the guy goes, "It's his birthday," and the whole room just exploded because he wasn't there for that whole
Right.
thing. And my fucking battery cut out right before it. I haven't posted a clip in forever, and I was like in my head, I was like, "Yeah, this is perfect," because it's not like forced. It was just so perfect, and it was such an eruption. I was like, "Motherfucker."
I know. I had,
I was so
yeah,
bummed.
I know what you mean. It's like, even if you tape every show, and look, you tried,
I
you
do tape
tape,
every show.
and it just,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah. The
stopped
battery,
taping.
because they had me do an hour, and the battery died at like 48, and that was like
Ugh.
near the end. Oh,
Oh, this mother. Ugh.
but I do have a observation. Have you noticed? And I'm not throwing comics under the bus because I think I've done it or I've been tempted to do it. But you ever notice, like, you ever see a clip where you could tell it's kind of a new bit or something, and you could tell the comic likes it, and it gets like the video ends at the punchline
Oh
with
yeah.
like no laugh. And you can tell leading up, this isn't doing very well, but
No,
they just
no,
want
no,
you to hear
no.
the joke and they don't want you to hear how it
And if they
went.
cut it off before the reaction comes in, who's to say?
Yeah.
Whereas if it crushed, they would just let that roll for a good 6 seconds and get every.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I
Yeah.
know exactly what you mean. I had definitely been guilty of that,
Oh
where
yeah,
like
me
I cut
too.
it off quick because it doesn't get exactly. But usually it's a joke where I'm like, this, I know this is good. It's just this tag, like even if it
Mhm.
got the before part got the laugh it was supposed to get, and I like wanted to have the tag on there, and for whatever reason, this stupid ass
Yeah,
crowd
yeah.
wasn't on the tag, so then I cut it off. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was thinking about these clips because now I haven't been um taping, and then I'll have crowd interactions and I go, oh man, that would have been good to have. But then do you think about it like later, like yours sounded legitimately like a killer once in a, but like
Yeah.
I had one where I was like, oh man, that was so good, and I was quick with it, and it was right at the beginning of the show, and it was a pretty hot room. It was the Saturday early show, and then I was like thinking about it later, and I was like, wasn't that funny? You know what I mean? Like if you really break it down as a comedic
Yeah.
thought, you were just like putting word, like very simple thoughts together. It wasn't like hilarious, but it
Yeah.
probably, but then again, that's what does numbers on these. That's what people seem to like. So who knows?
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. And it's funny because anytime I have like an interaction or whatever, and I'm like gauging, like, okay, oh, I can post that. And I always think about the conversation you and I had about like the caliber. Sometimes people post clips where it's like, you kind of had to be there. Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
get
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
getting
I
a
mean,
laugh,
I
but
guess
it's
that's what I'm
it's not as
saying.
funny as it was in the room.
Crowd
Like
work
in the
is,
room, it
yeah.
kills, but then it's like, is this really
In one
capturable?
way, I would say crowd work's easy as far as like getting reactions. You know,
Hmm.
I think it's hard as far as it like being actually funny and getting reaction. I mean, like,
Right. Or being
but
clever
that's,
or witty.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, good. So you had a good show then, but you got the rest of it on tape. You got the first 48
Yeah, I
minutes.
do. I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta listen to it and go through and see if there was stuff. But oh, and I did. I don't know if I texted you that, but I did do. I've done the the recycling bag where I put the stuff in the bag. What I talked about last week when I go grocery shopping and I get
Oh
plastic
yeah.
bags, the reusable bags, and then I put them in the reusable bag before I bring them in the house.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah,
got
yeah, yeah. That got
that's
a good.
that's staying
That's
in the act.
that's very funny.
Oh.
Did I talk
What was the
about
one you said? You did one.
the blue chews? That actually
Yes.
works
Yeah.
pretty good. So I talk about how like, I just don't know how to get into it. It's like it's weird because it's like I don't know what people have heard of, so then I'm like you have to explain it. Like
Yeah.
so then I saw the first show I was just like, "You guys know what blue chews are?" Like and then like
Just out
no
of
one,
nowhere.
of course, nobody is what? No, never heard of. So you explain it's like chewable Viagra and all that, and then but then what I came up with is the idea that um it's like the same concept. Why is it that why does it take that to get you to want to have sex? You know? It's such a
Yeah.
miracle. It's a miracle drug, that everybody loves. But it's like the same logic I have to use to get my daughter to take her vitamins. It's like Flintstone
Right.
Viagra's. But then like but like adults don't like Flintstones, so they should make them things like little chewable things men like little lawnmowers or I say Pat McAfee heads. I don't even know if you know who Pat McAfee is, but Joe Rogan
I've heard.
heads would work. I don't know.
Sure.
But so that's been the bit. It's been working pretty good. But then and then I was trying to come up with like the next. So like they're so desperate for people to have sex apparently. Like Blue Chews is not enough. They're gonna have to like make like Burger King cinnamon French toast sticks. Stiffy French
Yeah.
toast sticks or
Just
whatever. Like put Viagra and
yeah.
whatever.
Like sneak it in, like when you give your
Yeah.
dog medicine.
Speaking of which, oh my God, there's a story out of right here in Portland in Lake Oswego. It's like a rich neighborhood, and a
Uh huh.
dad just got sentenced to 2 years in jail because
Oh
his
no.
12-year-old daughter had a sleepover, and he wanted all the girls to go to sleep. There's a bunch of 12-year-old girls, and he was like just really wanted them to like sleep and not be up all night.
Oh
This
no.
is his version of events. So he had some prescription sedative or like sleeping drug. So he slipped
Yeah.
it in their smoothies. And only one girl didn't drink the smoothie, and she like literally couldn't wake up her friends. So of course they were planning on staying up the whole night, I'm sure. So she's the one who like narked him out, like who knew something was up. But he drugged all the kids.
How old are they?
12.
Oh my God.
So of course, then I was reading about it, and there were people like, "Oh, he's clearly a predator, and he's just lucky that he didn't have time. If that girl had fallen asleep, something bad would have happened." But his he only is getting tried for the what he actually
Just for
did.
doing, yeah. Oh my God.
But yeah, isn't that crazy? But when
Yeah.
I will say, when I first heard the story, I was like, oh, well, there's a world where if you like, what if you'd put melatonin in their drinks or something?
That's what I thought you were telling the story. I was like, oh, he gave everyone a melatonin. I was like, oh, fuck, I could probably. I'm
I
glad I'm hearing
know.
the story. That could be me, just to get him to shut up and go to
That's what I'm
bed.
saying. There's a world where it's kind of funny. It's like no one died and they just slept. And as long as he's not actually a sex predator, it's like, hey, man, the guy
Right.
didn't want to be up
But
all
that's
night.
the key thing. Yeah.
2 years,
Yeah.
that's harsh. But yeah, I think then when it occurred to me, like, oh, maybe he just like didn't get away with his plot. That's why they threw the book at him or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, and prescription,
yeah, and
prescription, like
you
knock.
can't do that. You just can't
Uh,
slip chemicals into young girls' drinks. That's
yeah.
especially when they're not
I mean,
your
what can we do? I mean, what can we do
what
these
can you
days?
do
You can't do
anymore
anything these days.
with today with the PC police?
Yeah. No, like, no kidding. Oh my God.
Horrible.
Uh, I was going to ask you because you were talking about the Blue Chew joke and like trying to find a way to get into it. Do you
Yeah.
think your act is more? And I ask this because I think this is part of my problem, like why I find it hard to flip an hour is because whenever I write a joke, I think, okay, where can I put that so that I don't start it out of nowhere? Like, do you think your act is more like premise, joke, new premise? Like I struggle to do that. It's hard for me to. I feel like it has to flow, like from
Yes.
thing to thing to thing.
Well, that's
But
a
that
good
can be a
point.
crutch.
So you have no way. So I don't think it's a crutch. I think it's just like it's a way to remember,
Yes,
and
you're
it's a
right.
way to keep momentum going. You know what I mean? Like as long as you're in the same arena of thought. You know
Yes.
what I honestly, and I heard like Dave Attell talk about that one time, but he was saying how he was being self-deprecating, but he was saying how he doesn't write. He's like he was describing why he doesn't think of himself as a great comic because he just writes the same jokes, like different versions of the same joke over and over and over again. So he'll write the drunk jokes, the weed jokes, the fat jokes, the ugly.
Sure.
And I was thinking about that because I was like, I kind of do that, like like I'll make fun of my mom, and it's like here's the current jokes where I can look
Yeah.
back from old albums and go, that was the little 10 minutes about my mom from the
Yep.
first album. This is the other 10 minutes, the Karen age, and then there's like now I have a couple different things, and sometimes I'll know it's what I'm doing because I'll literally throw out a pretty old joke just to create a little
Yep.
chunk, and then eventually they'll fill in. But you're right, that's why it takes like 4 years or whatever, because I'm not actively sitting down like Colin Quinn or something where you're like, I'm writing jokes about the Constitution today, or I'm writing,
Yes.
and maybe that would be better. Maybe we should be looking at it like, okay, this is what I got, and I want to make this bigger and this bigger and this bigger. So what are some more jokes within this,
Yeah.
set? But that's
Because
interesting.
yeah, you're right. But that's the thing. Like, it's like, oh, okay, here's my kid jokes. Here's my wife jokes.
Yeah,
Here's my marriage, whatever. And it's like when it's like, okay, I want to record something. And it's like, 50% of my current set that I'm using is on a record, 50% isn't. So
right.
then I kind of have to awkwardly chop it,
Yeah,
space it,
but
close gaps.
it's not like the old, thing where you're like, okay, I did my hour, now I'm starting over from scratch. Like we don't have the luxury to just stop touring,
Right,
and
right.
build up from 5 to 10 to 20 minutes. Like you still have to do the hour.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I know what you mean. In fact, it's even more complicated because I did that thing where I re-recorded my album, but then I
Hmm.
added I just because of out of my own boredom, I put in newer. So I really have to go back and listen to it to even know what's new and what's not, and what's old and like
Yeah.
I'm actually would be curious. I mean, like I know the big things, but
That's so funny you say that because on my drive to Duluth, that was the first time I had ever listened to my album that I re-recorded in Milwaukee, at the beginning of whatever that
yeah,
year, you know. And there were jokes. I was like, oh, I burned that joke. I didn't realize I threw that in because
right,
it was like all my old album plus new ones, like you said,
right.
but I didn't realize.
It's
So I was
not.
like,
It's
oh man.
honestly not burned though. Like someone was saying, I forget who I was talking to, but he was like, so what if it gets submitted again? They just don't take it or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, or they do take. Like they don't know. Nobody's paying that close attention. But yeah, I I think like I'm gonna saying that out loud. It makes sense to me to like really be more intentional, especially when you're going, okay, it's time for me to get something else out there. Like get more intentional about writing to subjects, because sometimes, you're just writing whatever thought. That's where I'm at now. I'm
Yeah.
just very sort of like, if I have an idea, I jot it down in my notes and then try and write it later. But
Yeah.
sometimes you're stuck and you haven't written anything in a while. It's like a good way to jumpstart yourself. Like, get more specific and then try to
Yep.
write out of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I was like,
This is a real inside baseball episode
I
so
know, but
far.
it's interesting to me, probably to nobody else, but interesting to me.
I think it's interesting to people. But what do I
What
know?
else? I had one more
You had a
pre-show.
pre-show. Was it? It wasn't about an appliance, was it? We haven't visited
No, we haven't done
appliance talking.
appliance talk in a while. I don't know.
We got a new juicer.
You got a new juicer?
Yeah, the old one. It had a leak, and so the liquid got inside, so it would smell like an electric fire every time we used it. And then I guess it started smoking when I was out of town, so Aaron tossed it. I picked up a new one.
I didn't know
That's
you were a
appliance talk on the
I
Cavalry.
didn't know you were a juicer guy. A juice guy.
Yeah, but I don't do like. I mean, it's we do kefir and then a bunch of like stuff you get at Costco. It's called Morning Blend. It's got like mango, strawberry, peach, pineapple,
And
and
it
then you
comes
put.
like frozen?
I mean, it's like a big, huge bag of chunks. So you pour those into the big thing. You add kefir, you add water, you put flax seed and
What is kefir?
honey. Kefir's like a probiotic. It's like
Wow.
really thick milk, but it's flavored, or it's like yogurt. It's like really loose yogurt.
So you're making like smoothies basically.
Yeah,
But why not just use a blender? What's the difference between a juicer and a
I
blender?
don't know. I think that's the big scam. Like people are like, oh, I'm juicing, but it's like they don't realize blenders have been around forever. Like
Yeah, I
that's what it
gotta
is. It's just a super powerful blender, but it's you screw that, you take the cup, you put all the stuff in, and then you put the blade as a lid, and then and then you flip it upside down. It blends the shit out of it. You take it off, unscrew the blade, and it's already in the cup. And you just drink it. So it's really easy.
Oh, that's a blender. You're
No,
confused.
because the blender is like the cup, the blades are in the bottom.
Yeah,
And you
but it's
put it, nobody
blending
drinks
it.
it out
But
of the pitcher.
it's
It's doing
blend
the same thing. Yes, it is a blender. I
you
agree with you.
literally
I just
described a
said,
blender.
but this is why it's easier because it's a cup that you can turn into a
But a
blender and then you take
juicer,
the blades
like
out.
a juicer squeezes all the juice out of
No, yeah, we had one of those. That was a pain in the ass because you have to clean it. They have all these like screens that get pulp all over them, and then you're like getting rid of 70% of the shit.
I'm not
So we just
saying I'm not saying that a juicer isn't a pain in the ass. I'm saying that you are misdescribing the current appliance that you own.
it's a NutriBullet. I
Which,
think that's what it is.
sure, which is the brand of blender that you
A
have.
blender. But okay, so blenders make smoothies and juicers make juice. Is that what we're
Yes, I think that's a great way
coming?
to think. That's a great little I before E except after C sort of device for you to remember how.
That's my mnemonic device. Juicers make juice. Okay, all right. I think I got it.
No, because I was gonna say that sounds what you were describing sounds so healthy. And then someone told me once, like, oh yeah, juicers are bad actually because you want that like you want the fiber of all the little chunks. Like that's actually good for you. So, but
Yeah.
then you were like saying what you were doing, and I was like, well, it sounds like it's just blending it. And I was like, oh, I think he just means a blender. NutriBullet, I've heard of those. And you're right, it's in the cup already.
I like you telling me your inner dialogue. Oh, I think he's mistaken. I don't think he knows what he's
Like, what does it
doing.
matter?
He's mislabeling it.
I'm not.
But they're
Yeah,
good. They're good
I
because
got
yeah,
into.
they're thick. They're smoothies.
Can you? Okay, so it's frozen chunks of fruit that you're throwing in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're putting kefir, which is yogurt consistency,
It's basically yogurt, but
and
it's like you
honey.
pour it. Honey
So let me.
and cinnamon for sweetness.
Do you, any ice, or you just
No,
the frozen fruit acts as the ice?
it's really cold. And then you put water to
Because
fill in.
my oh, and you put some water. Because my blender, I don't think it's like very powerful, but because I was doing ice, I was doing protein. Remember, and I was so bloated all the time.
Yep.
So
I remember you
kind of
talking
got out
about
of
it.
the kind of got out of the habit of this, but then it wouldn't blend. Like I'd have to like keep,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? It wasn't like powerful enough for like to break up
I
the
think
ice.
I think that's the differentiator between the NutriBullet and a blender is like they sell it based on the torque and the power of the
Yeah. See, I should have gotten a NutriBullet.
blade. Yeah. Well, you should get a NutriBullet Pro, and they're like $70 at Target.
Yeah. All right.
You know who
Appliance
introduced me to
talk.
those? Jason Russell. Appliance Talk on the Cavalry.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
Should we do it? Topics?
Let's do topics.
Okay.
All right. I don't know how confident you are in
No,
yours.
you seem more confident, so I'm gonna go first.
Okay. That
right.
works.
You know about student loan debt? Do you have any student loan debt?
I do not, but my wife's was recently forgiven
Look at
because she's in
that.
the public sector. She's been working in the public sector for however many years. She
Look at
paid a
Joe.
ton and it was
Yeah.
all interest, but yeah.
Look at
So
Joe.
we're very thrilled about that. But what were you going to say?
Look at Joe Biden go. Well, I was saying like there was a lot of debate about whether or not they should forgive student loans because some people, on the one hand, it's like crippling people, and obviously you guys know it's so expensive and the interest alone and all that stuff. But on the other hand, there's people who are like, well, hey, why would you get this money where a lot of people didn't go to college at all and they're struggling, but they don't get any reward, you know?
Yeah, sure.
So here was my theory was you should get your student loans forgiven if you can prove you're not using your degree at all. So if you can show that like every day there is no you like whatever you majored in, and then you can like show that you work and do nothing with that degree, they should give you that. Not only should they forgive your loans, they should just give you the money back that you
paid
to go to university.
And then it's up to you whether you want to use it to pay off your loan or just
No, I
a
mean
couple
the
cars.
loan is forgiven and they return the tuition. Like, we're sorry we did this, subjected. Like, that should be the risk. It should be like a game for the college. They should go like, hey, they should be be taking on the risk as like in the same way they're accepting students. They should go, hey, we're betting on you because we think you're going to make a great paleontologist, right? But
sure,
if it turns out you're a fuck up, we've got to pay you the money back because we were wrong.
Who is reimbursing these, or who is forgiving these loans?
The
government,
the federal government, because it's a government level program. I think that's giving the loans, right? Like it's
the
like,
loans.
Yeah, it's not like.
So it's not like the government is paying off U.S. Bank for your school.
I mean, I think
loan.
kind of, yeah. I think that's
because I think
we're way over our skis here.
Right. I think if the guy, yeah, I like your idea.
It's
a
bad idea. You don't have to back me up. It's a bad idea. And your wife just got her student loans paid off and she's using her degree.
Right. No, I know. That's why I was saying,
So
based on, I'm very biased and I think it's a great program. And the people that are making that argument you said at the beginning about that's not fair. I don't care because
I
this
know.
affects me.
Right. Right. And it doesn't really affect, like, everyone wants to be like, well, why do you get this, but I don't get that?
Yeah, we're not making you pay for my wife's
Yeah,
loan.
it doesn't affect you at all. And then
Right.
also, like, one day you're going to get some shit that I'm not going to get. And I'm not going
Yeah.
to be a dick about it. That's the trade. I just
Yeah. And then
promise
they
not to be a
say,
dick
yeah,
when you get your undeserved gift from the gods,
everyone gets it. It's all going to even out in the end.
which is
And if
like
you're saying, if they're saying, well, I would have changed, I would have gone to college if I would have known it would have been forgiven. Well, I would have invested in Apple when when no one knew,
right,
but I did. So fucking
right.
that's life.
I know they say I would have gone to college. First of all, that's the problem with student loans is nobody didn't go to college because they were afraid to take on student loan debt. When you're that age, you're just like, oh yeah, they're gonna pay for it. Okay, I'll just pay them back. Like, it doesn't seem that scary. You're not understanding the weight of the interest and
Yeah.
everything. Like, that was the problem. It's like people aren't like ready to make that sort of and I think most people who take out student loans aren't like thinking about how crippling they might be later.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they are nowadays
Well, I think they
versus
are, and I think you're seeing like less. They're saying less people are going to college now than in the last
Mhm.
few years
because it's
because it gets
exponentially
discussed so
getting
much. Yeah,
ridiculous.
and they haven't solved the real problem, which is like college is still like way too expensive.
Hmm.
How do you fix that? Like, why is college so expensive? I wish I would like to read something about that. Like, why does college have to be so expensive?
Yeah, I want it to collapse like how the fucking housing market did.
Right.
When is all the schools going to be like, oh, we got too fucking greedy.
Yeah.
It caved in on us.
Yeah, we need like a total college bubble to burst.
Yep.
And then you could just go to Yale for like $180 a quarter. You know what I mean? You just get the steal of a
Yeah.
lifetime.
Yeah.
If they gave you a free tuition to go back to college and you could study anything you want, would you take
Well,
advantage of it? Would you do
can I
it?
tell you? So here's the scholar. This is why I don't have uh college debt. I went to college. I only had to pay for room and board because my mom worked for a Jesuit college, and they have like a Paychex, or they have a Paychex exchange. Where like she worked at Creighton, so I could have gone to Creighton for paying no tuition, just room and board. But I went to Marquette, which is another Jesuit school. So what has to happen is someone whose parent works at Marquette wants to go to Creighton. And if it
I
lines
see.
up, if the numbers line up, then there's a space for me. Like I almost went to St. Louis University until I found out, oh, they do have a spot for me to get that scholarship.
Wow.
So, I
But
mean,
you
that
didn't want to go to
basically is the
Creighton?
situation I was in. No, I didn't want to go to Creighton. I did not want to. I mean, Creighton's a great school. I just had to get out of Omaha.
I see. But no, I'm not saying that. So that's great. That's cool and a good opportunity. I'm saying now. I'm just
Now,
I'm just waving
no.
a wand and you could go to Harvard, you could go to Yale, you could go to any school you wanted, study anything you wanted, and it would be free. But the only
Uh,
the only caveat is you'd have to do it. You have to like
right.
do the
You
homework
have to
and
study.
yeah, and study.
But well, first of all, I know for two reasons. Because no, I don't want to do that work. And two, what am I going to do with it?
Well, I know. I
What's
know. That's
what's the
that's
end
why I'm
game like?
asking. It's this incredibly valuable gift I'm giving you. Like, it's like
Right.
that, maybe like a Harvard education, like a 4 year or postgraduate Harvard education. Like, what is that worth? Like a $500,000 or something? I don't even know. And I'm giving it to you for free, and you're like, no, thank you. And I think most people are like you. If I could do it, what if you could do it online? What if you could just do it all online? You still got to do it.
But I mean, what am I doing it for?
I don't
I
know.
want to
Just
be a
to like,
comedian, you know?
just to better yourself.
Oh, I'm so close. Yeah. I'm so, yeah, nope.
I don't even know what I would say. See, I don't know what I would say. I guess I would
I
like,
could get hit by a bus next year
you
and I
could
would,
tell people, I'm a Harvard, yeah, I have a Harvard
hey,
degree.
guess what, Andrew? I can tell people that now if I want.
But what you could like, what if it was some, yeah, I'm trying to just trying to think like if I could, I think I would be like into like a history thing, but I wouldn't want to write. Like I would like to like
Oh,
learn. I'd like to sit there. I'd like to hear lectures and read.
oh,
I don't want to have to write a paper of my own. Like that sounds.
you can do
I
that
know,
online.
I know, I know. So, but we're
Yeah.
saying all this, right? We're saying we wouldn't do it if you gave it to us for free,
Right.
but then we still expect 18-year-olds to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for it.
Well, no, but I think that that's because we know what we're doing and what we're doing that will not add value to us. These
Right.
18-year-olds,
They
it
still
will help them
think I
get a
could
job
be,
in what they
yeah.
want to do.
Yeah. No, no, no. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Did I ever tell you that I when I started at Marquette, I was in the College of Engineering. My dad was in engineering, but and I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. But I went into engineering specifically because the core curriculum for the College of Engineering was the only one that did not require history. You
Oh,
did not have to take history in the College of Engineering. All the other ones you did.
that's so
And
interesting.
that was my
History was like a
decision.
thing for you. You did not like history.
I just can't. Yeah, I was never good at. I mean, I switched colleges, and I eventually did have to take Western Civilization, 101 or whatever, and eked through it. But I just,
I like it. I mean, I think if I could take anything, like if I had to take something, because I did the same thing. I think that's why I was a journalism major. Half of it was because I didn't have to take math. I was so scared of math, you know. I took
yeah.
math. I took or I in science too, like all math and science. I took science for like for teachers, which was like they had a teaching college at Western and where I went, and then they would teach. Basically, they were teaching future teachers how to teach sixth grade science to kids. So it was like sixth grade level science shit, but like how to teach it, and somehow
Oh,
that
okay,
was
yeah.
satisfying my science requirement.
And so that's easier than actual science
Yeah, yeah. So
classes.
it was super easy. And I gotta say, like in the chemistry part of it, they were like saying some stuff. I was like, oh, I get it now. Like it was totally like clicking. I just needed like the sixth grade level explainer, you know? It was
Yeah.
actually very helpful to me. But no,
Huh.
I don't know. I would
Yeah, there
like
you
to
go.
think that I would, because you're supposed to be like a lifelong learner and, you know, you know,
Yeah.
education is important whether or not you're using it or not.
Yeah. How dorky is it? I honestly feel like I would rather take math classes now than history. Because I find I don't mind
Oh,
math. I like math, and I took calculus was the highest I went, and it was very hard. But I like
but don't you
the
think you'd be
fact that
better
there's
at it now? Don't you think you'd be better at school now? Just
um
overall, I think I'm more organized. I like I'm like probably a better thinker, and I know I'm more like intelligent about how to get stuff done. So like if there's homework or something, I would know like just do it right now. Or just read this chapter quick right now before you
yeah,
get home. Just go to the light, knock it out now before it becomes like there were so many nights I was up at like 4 in the morning before
yeah.
I would set my alarm to get up to like write a paper before 8 a.m. It was so stupid looking back. There's so many things
I
like I'm way better at stuff
I
now.
think we're different because like how you are now, and you're like, oh, I've learned this is how I would do it. I was like that then. Like I was very nerdy. I was very,
Okay.
it would bother me to not be, I couldn't relax. I couldn't go to a party if I knew that I had this thing to do. So I would get it done. And I don't think I'd be better in college now because then I had a prime of your life brain that was soaking it in. And now I have a 44-year-old fucking old shitty brain that forgets fucking shit I've known my whole life. It's just that I'm on the
I
down
don't know.
slope.
I
So
don't know.
no,
I think
I don't
I'm
think I'm ever better.
wasted. I think all that stuff was wasted on me. I was talking about this with my buddy, but Bo was a comedian, and he was saying it could be a premise, but like we like now I'm interested in Lewis and Clark, right? Now I want to read a book about some old president or Julius
Yeah,
Caesar or know about why a bridge works, like why, you know what I mean, like the shit we talk about here we have no idea. Like I'm curious, I'm at least curious about it now. In school I couldn't care or like going to a
yeah,
national park when you're a kid. I had no interest in trees or the Grand Canyon or Yellowstone or geysers or any of that stuff. And now it's like beautiful and fascinating to me as an adult, but you don't get it pushed on you as an adult. Once you become an adult,
right.
all those days are over. You don't have to read any books. You don't have to, you know, go on any field trips. You just can go to Vegas and you know what I'm saying? When it would actually
Yeah,
be fulfilling now, but when you're a kid, you don't want any of that shit. It's like we're trying to make kids do the stuff we're interested in now,
right.
right? Where
Yeah.
kids just
And
want to
you
go,
try to convince them, oh, it's worth it. You'll like it.
yeah.
You'll appreciate it. Like
No,
no matter what you say,
you'll love
they
Grapes
won't.
of Wrath. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like what are they going to relate to Grapes of Wrath about? They've never had any real problems. I don't know.
That's so fun. So you read like historical books.
I'm reading a book right now about Eisenhower.
Can I
It's
tell
called
you?
800 pages.
I
Don't
haven't
say it. Don't say it.
I haven't read
Oh, I thought you were going to
in
say you didn't know who he was.
no, I do. No, of course. I haven't read. I was going to tell you, like, I haven't read in so long. And I recently read, like, I was so proud of myself. And I was like, because I read the other night, but it was a short story about a car that eats people. It's called Mile 81. It's a Stephen King short story. I was like, hey, I read the other
Hey,
night.
I read that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I got that sounds great. I was just check that out. I read
yeah.
when I was on that ship, I read this book called Exhalation. Ex and it's short stories. Collection is a guy Ted Zhu or something. But anyway,
Hmm.
it's a collection of short stories and they're all science fiction, but it was great. So it's same thing. It's like you don't have to be too, but they were like like each one was like interesting in a different way and about all sorts of
Yeah.
different like concepts. But it was like science fiction.
The same author?
Yeah, same author wrote like there's probably like 8 or 9 of them, and
Hmm.
it's like an easy, quick. You might like that. Exhalation. Am I saying that word right?
Exhalation.
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
don't know. I can't see it. All right. You know what? I'm going to change my topic. I'm going to save because there's so
Wait.
much
Oh,
meat on the
because
bone of my
we went
topic.
so long.
So I'll just switch mine up. Yeah.
Oh
So mine will be
man.
next week, the one that I was going to say.
Shit.
But
Rambling.
that's okay. That's good. That's good. But no, I have a new topic. I've been thinking
Okay.
of a new topic over the last minute instead of listening to the conversation I was involved in. So the new topic that we'll just burn through this. I think farts, like, I don't think that they only the ones that smell like eggs are the ones you can be mad at someone for ripping. Does that make sense?
It, yeah. See, I'm less about like, I don't think you can be mad at someone for farting unless it's like they make it so like it's such a performance. Like they lift up a butt cheek and then like, you know what I mean? Really shove it out there and try to make it as loud as possible. Like that, I'm always like, what? Come on. Like, why are you
They're
know what I
putting
mean?
on a show.
If they just like leak one out and it's really smelly, it's like, well, what do you want the person to do? There's nothing they can do about it, except for like
Yeah.
change their diet, I suppose. But
Or goes somewhere. I always thought it was funny. Like my mom would be like, "Oh, go in the bathroom." Like, what kind of a psychopath goes in the bathroom and farts and then leaves?
you know what? You do that when you like start dating, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the thing,
Yeah.
like too. I saw these videos of like girls. There's like an Instagram thing where they're making fun of their husbands or boyfriends who in the morning they get up and they're farting so loud in the bathroom. Like, why do you think they have a minute and a half worth of farts saved up? Because they normally in our previous lives when we were just allowed to do whatever we wanted, we were farting in the bed, and that was a perfect
Yeah.
gentleman right there who held it in all night, and then he goes to the bathroom and
Blows
farts
them
his
out.
ass off.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll back you
That's
up.
good.
I just don't think you can be mad at someone for farting when it's like, you know, Mike Cummings used to tell people they should go to the bathroom to do it. Just a dude, tell other dudes, and only dudes around. I mean, not to be chauvinistic or anything, but like,
He
what are
would
we?
tell dudes to go do that.
Imagine just a group of men in a room, and
Yep.
somebody farts, not like trying to make a big show of it. Maybe you couldn't even
Yep.
hear
Like
it.
audible or just a stink
No,
bomb.
just yeah, it just smells.
Okay.
And he would get really mad and tell him they should have gone to the bathroom. I'm like, are you out of your mind?
Is he living in a fantasy
Like
world?
what? Yeah, what palace of Versailles do you think you're occupying? It's like the Queen of England.
Oh, Mike.
I know.
We're not there yet, bud. We should have world peace too, but
Yeah, I know. In a perfect world, I guess. But
yeah, sure.
also, if you like, what if you really had to go to the bathroom and it was
No.
occupied, and then
Oh
you
yeah.
find
Good
out the
call.
guy was you're there about to like, your spleen's about to explode, but then the guy in there is just farting. You'd be like, "What are you do? Get out of there! I
You
gotta
you
go.
could
I gotta go a
you could have
real
done that
thing."
out here. Yeah.
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 Oh, I have a quick question for you.
Yeah.
If you have to take a dump in a public,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, see, I think you would do well back at Harvard. Uh, we should totally go back to school. What are we doing? Um, if you have to take a dump in a public restroom and you get into the restroom and the stalls are occupied, but the urinals are free, are you
No.
standing? No, not you're not gonna shit in the urinal. But are you standing in the bathroom waiting for the stalls, or do you just leave and then come back? See,
Oh,
I can't do
okay.
it. When I go in, I'm too embarrassed. If I go into a
Just
bathroom,
to tell everyone I'm about to shit and wait.
exactly, because if they see the urinals are free and you're still waiting for the stall, everybody knows what's up. But if like the urinals are occupied and the stalls are occupied, then you can stand politely like a citizen.
That just happened. I was in the bathroom and I go and the one opened and I told the guy, I was like, "Oh, you can go ahead. I'm waiting for my son." And he was like, I'm waiting for one of the stalls." And I was like,
See,
"Hey,
see, I couldn't do it. I would just, and that's it. If I was
you're
that
gonna
dude, that's
make poop." Yucky, yucky, yucky. Hey, you guys, everybody get out of here. This guy's gonna shit.
Hey, this guy shits out of his ass, I bet. He just admitted it.
He just admitted it. Oh,
Ew, stinky, stinky.
You know
If
what?
I were that
would
guy,
know. I mean,
if I were that guy and you had done that and you said, "Oh, you can go ahead," I would have just gone to the urinal and peed.
and shit your pants while
No,
peeing.
not
You can't pee and hold the poop.
Oh, I can.
Can you? You
I
can?
think I can. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can.
But the only reason I would be in that situation is if it was an emergency. I don't like to poop I'm envisioning it at an airport.
Yeah, I mean, if it were an emergency, I guess I would just wait, and I would. I like I said on a previous episode, I'll go just out of boredom. I have no problem pooping in a public place. I'll just go to check out the facility. I'm gonna
go shit out of my ass.
I'll go, but I don't want anyone to know. Oh
my god, that's great. I've shit out of boredom. Oh, remember when you told me about how you walked in and that guy fucking jerking his wiener?
That one's so traumatic. I do like forget that happens. You know what I mean? How like people talk about they block things out of their
That's
But then again, that's the same thing as farting in a stall. Like, what if someone really had to take a dump and this guy's in there yanking it?
Yeah.
And, that's not right.
Yeah, it's like you could have done that in one of the nursing stations. You selfish prick.
The nursing station.
Well, good app. I think that was a solid app. Oh my gosh.
Great app. Thanks everybody for listening. I'm gonna be in Tacoma, the Tacoma Comedy Club, in the Proctor room. There's the smaller room. When is it gonna be?
The Tacoma Comedy Club has a smaller room?
Yeah, they built like it's like a separate club. It's like smaller. It's like across the street or something on Proctor. I've never been there before, but July 19th and 20th is when I will be there.
All right.
Oh, and also I have a show in Cape Cod because we're going to Cape Cod, but then I booked a show on July. So if anybody happens to be July 11th at the Knockabout Brewery, but then it's also apparently it's my wife and I's anniversary. I was just
apparently.
Yeah. She's like, you booked a show on the one show you booked on the whole vacation is on our anniversary. I was like,
yeah,
that's my bad. I kind of messed that up. But yeah, that's it. Johnny?
July 5 and 6 at the Lincoln Lodge in Chicago.
Oh, I've been there.
Chicago area. July 5 and 6.
What's the deal? Are you doing like a door deal thing? Are you
I think so. I am. I don't know.
All right.
I might just be doing a set. I reached out and he's like, oh, we can do these dates, so I don't know.
Great. Okay, that's it. Thank you, everybody, for listening to
The Cavalry.